Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla, and I am starting a series where I interview people that I meet that I believe have something to say and have a story to tell, and I feel like you guys should hear. So with me today, I have Alliyah, 1A, 2 L's, okay? And I met Alliyah in my solo performance class, and we had an assignment where we had to talk about one of the assignments that we were supposed to be doing. We didn't do that. We had a completely different conversation, and I was like, oh my god, like I would love to interview her and have her on a channel. So here is Alliyah. Would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you?
Hi, my name's Alliyah. I'm a Libra. I'm a senior. My age is gonna be like, I'm 24.
Okay, her.
And yeah.
So my first question is, who do you identify as?
I would say in terms of everything, I'm a woman, like cis woman, Black, Cape Verdean to be specific, and queer.
Okay.
I think that's it. And I'm not from here. I'm from Yonkers, so I feel like that's my identity too.
Okay, Vern. That was my next question. Where are you from?
Okay, cool. I feel like I grew up in Yonkers, but I feel like technically, like, I'm Cape Verdean. Like, my whole family's from there. And I just grew up over there. Well, in Yonkers, but like around like Cape Verdeans. Here, I've been to...
And there was a community of Cape Verdeans in Yonkers?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And in Brockton, I don't know if you know where that is. It's in Massachusetts. Over there too, we have like family. And also in Portugal, my sister lives there, so I would always go there.
Wow.
Yeah, and in Cape Verde, my family's there too.
How long has your sister been in Portugal?
Her whole life.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so my dad had kids before me, my youngest brother, and they all live in Portugal. And so they grew up there, whatever. My oldest brother lives here, and my youngest, she's the youngest girl out of them, lives here too. But my one sister, the oldest sister, she's in Portugal. She's lived there her whole life. Like she comes to visit here, but she loves over there.
And have you been over there as well?
Yeah, I've been there when I was 7 for the first time by myself. And that was really fun. And then I went back again in 2019. Yeah, and I stayed there for like 2 weeks. And it was nice because last time I went there, I was really young and I didn't get a chance to like really talk to her and be like, hey. Yeah. And then now when I went, we talked about astrology. She's an Aries. I'm like,
oh wow.
I was like,
that's
okay.
Cool. Yeah.
I love her down. Okay,
sure. So your siblings that are here in the States, would you say that you have a closer relationship with them?
No. Like, we're cool, but they're all older than me. Like, I'm the youngest girl, but I'm the older sister of the youngest boy. Right. Because we all lived separately together. Like, me and the younger boy, his name is Eric, if that makes it easier. Me and Eric lived together. Okay. So, and we had a different mom than them. And then all three of them all lived together. They had a different mom. And then my one sister that's in Portugal, she lived alone, and she has a different mom. So they all live different, like, by themselves. And then when they came here, they're all older, like 20 years older than me. So
so it's that big of an age gap. Okay.
So to me, like, that's like uncle.
Yeah.
That's like aunt, uncle.
Yeah.
So we don't have that like bestie, whatever. Like, we'll talk, and because my brother has like daughters, they're around my age. So I grew up, they're like my cousins. I'm not gonna call them like
my niece.
That's weird. But I love them down. I feel like we aren't close though, because just the way that my dad's dynamic is, he doesn't really talk. So he doesn't bring all of us together to talk. Right. So everyone's separate. Like, he'll talk to us, but he won't bring us to talk to each other. If that makes sense.
Is that something that you want?
Yes and no, because I'm like, why do I have to be the one to do it? Yeah. I feel like, especially they're older than me, and they have kids of their own. So it's like, why don't you want to talk to me? And I feel like I've never done anything wrong for you not to want to talk to me. My sister, I don't speak to her at all. She lives upstate. I don't even know what she's doing. She's an Aquarius. And then I had another brother. He passed away when he was like 7 or... Oh, wow. No, 23. He passed away when he was 23. And so when that happened, I guess that separated them, because I was only 5. That separated them entirely, and then me growing up, it all was a different dynamic. Like, we're not close at all in the way that I would like to be. Like, I see families, like, even Thanksgiving, like, I had to be the one to text them and be like, oh, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah. And they were like, oh, yeah. Like, they don't even know my birthday, so. Wow. Yeah.
I don't like that. Well, you know, very one-sided, you know, so we leave those where it's at.
Yes.
Amen. It's their loss. If you could share 3 words to describe yourself, what would they be? And then explain why you picked those words.
I would say charming.
Libra.
Funny. And I would say, I don't know, you say characteristics or?
Just 3 words.
3 words? Okay, I would say talkative.
Okay.
I will say charming because I feel like, again, Libra. But, like, for me, I like to know about the person. Like, I like to, in any type of relationship, I like to know you and see what are the things. And to some people, that may come off as me flirting. Yeah. Or me being like, oh, I like you and stuff like that. And yeah, I like you as a person. Yeah. But it's not as anything more deep. Yeah. And I feel like that comes off a lot when I don't try to do that, especially with men. And sometimes it is really, really annoying because I really am just being like, oh, like, you like butterflies? I like them too. Oh my God. But to someone else, that can be like, oh, you want to suck my dick. Yeah. And that's not me.
No, I feel you.
And funny, I feel like I am funny. Like, I feel like I can do a bunch of different type of humor. Like, I have my own, but I feel like I can adapt to other people's humor too. Like, especially if there's people who like are awkward and like to like awkward humor or like jokes that are like about death or problematic jokes, like things like that. I can adapt to anyone's thing and make people laugh. Like, that's the one thing I love to do, just make people laugh, smile, and then we laugh together.
It's a superpower.
Yes. Talkative because, again, I feel like Libra, but I am mostly air. Like, I feel like I can talk to anyone about them, but I don't like to talk about myself. That's the one thing I will say. That's that Mercury in Scorpio.
I was just about to ask, what was your Mercury?
I do not like to speak about myself. I can, and this is bad, but I do methods where I know you're gonna ask me about myself. I will flip that and ask you about yourself. Like, if you're like, hi, how are you? I'm like, I'm okay. Oh my God, how's going? Like, how is it with like school? Okay. Oh my God, didn't you get your hair done yesterday? Oh my God, like your shoes are so cool. Like, so we can go on different stuff so it doesn't go back on me. Like, we'll focus on you.
Do you feel like you can like predict it? Yeah. Like, okay. Like, you know when a specific question is coming, and like you pick up on cues, and then that's your cue to be like, all right, let's redirect this.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's so interesting. So why do you do that?
I feel like, because I feel like it's easier to talk about someone else, but it's hard to talk about yourself. For me, at least. Okay. Because I'm like, it's just so easy to be like, hey, like, oh my God. Da-da-da. When the focus is on you, now you have to think like, okay, who am I? What do I like? Oh, yes, I do like this. And I have to explain myself. And what if this person doesn't like me? Or like this, whatever. But if I'm just focused on you, obviously, then you're going to be like, oh my God, yeah. Like, I give you some type of like, not like self-confidence, but like a boost of energy. Yeah. So it's like, yay, like this interaction made me feel nice. Yeah. Like,
no, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you also feel like part of it is just because, like you said, it's air? Just wanting to learn from other people, like, because people, I personally believe like people are my biggest lessons. Like, I learn the most from other people, so I like to just sit and like I'll ask them a question for advice or just something about their life. Like, that's why I'm doing these interviews. Like I say, like, this is my personal research because people are so interesting. So do you also feel like it's a thing where, like, yes, you don't want to talk about yourself, but you are genuinely more interested and invested in hearing about the other person?
Yeah, I do. I also think it's trauma. I definitely think that I like to get to know this person or like figure out like what are some things that you like. Okay, like for example, last when we had class or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I know that you brought in the bingo,
Mm-hmm.
and I would ask you and be like, oh my god, like where did you find that? Where did you get that idea? Like that is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so cool that you brought that idea up. I
Yeah.
like to talk and wonder like, how did you think of it this way? I
Yeah.
think also because air,
Mm-hmm.
we like to have different perspectives,
Right.
and see, because I can't just be like, okay, you brought it because you want to make noise.
Right.
That's one perspective.
Right.
Or I could be like, no, you feel like this is vibrational.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you feel like goes with your performance,
Right.
and you feel like it matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one perspective too. So like I rather take the open one
Right.
than the straight narrow one. Be like, okay, this is what you just want me to know. Like,
No,
so yeah, like I really like to get to know certain things. Even like with astrology, I feel like that helps me because I'm like, all right, you're Cancer, Cancer moon, Scorpio rising. Like, okay, now I know the way you think.
Right.
Now I know the way that you like certain things. Now I know, okay, certain elements, this or whatever. You're Scorpio Mars? Sag Mars? Okay, so now I know certain things that you like too.
Right.
So it makes sense to me in a
Yeah.
way. I just feel like I love it.
I agree. I think sometimes I don't like I understand like when people use astrology to excuse certain behaviors or say this is why I am the way I am, but like I'm like people don't understand like it's really like a guide for me. Like
Yes, me too.
it really is helpful because like you said, like you tell me you have these placements, I'm like, okay, so now I know how to approach you. I know the things that you may like, and everybody's different. They may not resonate with every placement in their chart yet.
Yes.
Yet, okay?
Yeah.
You just maybe you haven't, it's not the time, okay? But no, yeah, like it really is helpful. Like I love like, and then like being able to memorize it, like you said, like it sticks. Like I don't know, it makes sense in the inner brain, I think.
It does.
Next, we're gonna move into self-acceptance. So in the class that I was that I mentioned previously, where I met Alliyah at, there's a lot of provoked vulnerability. And we talk a lot about things maybe that trigger us in the past that we're not very comfortable with, and so on and so forth. So we're moving into like self-acceptance right now. So I'm going to go off of things that I've learned from you in class, but if anything else comes up, that is fine as well. So I wanted to talk about hair specifically. What is the significance it has in your life? What is your journey as far as like accepting it? If you had to have a journey of self-acceptance with hair, what did that look like?
Okay, so when I was younger, I have photos of my hair when I was little, and it was really, really big and curly and long. And I loved my hair. Now,
Right.
at the time, I live in Yonkers, but I don't know if you know where Yonkers is?
Yes, not too far from here, right?
Yeah. So I live the Yonkers all the way at the end near the Bronx.
Okay.
So where I live culturally is different to where I went to school.
Okay.
So when I went for elementary, I went to this one school in Bronxville. I don't think you know the place.
Bronxville? Yeah, I know Bronxville.
Okay. So it's in Bronxville, and everyone there is white. Like, if they're not white, they're Indian, they're Asian, they're maybe 1% of like Hispanic people.
Okay.
But that's really was my school. And everyone there has straight hair. If not straight, a wave. If not a wave, a curl. So going in that school, everyone was like, "You're fucking ugly.
Oh my god.
Why do you have this curly big hair?"
Yeah.
Like, ew. And teachers too. Like, they would just be like, "This is too much." You know, like, maybe you should have your hair a different way. Or if it wasn't them saying stuff like students, teachers, it was the way I was perceiving everybody.
Right.
Because everyone had a certain style, and people I found attractive didn't like me because I didn't look like those girls.
Right.
So I was like, oh shit, maybe I need to change. And so my mom, I begged her and asked her to put relaxer in my hair. And she was like, okay, fine. She put it, and so my hair was straight. But it was straight and damaged because it would fall. So it was not as long as it was. It started to become shorter and shorter and shorter. So I was relaxed until 2016.
Wow.
So I would always get it relaxed and then go to the beauty salon and have them blow dry straight.
Okay.
So I wouldn't take care of it. I would go to them to wash my hair, to do all this other shit. I wouldn't do it myself. And it wasn't until I was in high school, because all in elementary to middle school, it was all white people again.
Right.
In the whole entire school, there was maybe like 25 black people.
Wow.
And that school goes from pre-K to 8th grade.
Wow.
So it was not a lot of black people, or at least anyone with my texture hair. And in high school, that's when I started to see black people. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like, it's different than like, you know, I go home and everyone there is black. So I was like, okay, cool. But going to school where I spend 8 hours a day, it's like, oh my God, like, hey guys, like, hi. And then it's like things that I never knew about hair, because my only focus was school, what I see on TV, and home. Right. And home, my mom has relaxed hair, and my other cousins and stuff had a looser texture than mine. Okay. So I'm like, oh, okay. And on TV, you know, they had nobody with us, other than like maybe like China Anne McClain, maybe
fucking China Anne McClain
or Kiki Palmer, but like they had nobody. Right. So going into high school, I was like, oh my God, braids. Yeah. Oh my God, locks. Oh my God, ponytails. What? Yeah. Like wigs. What? So that, and I think YouTube really, really helped, because now you hear different perspectives of people than outside of like your community. And 2016, that's when everyone was like, natural hair journey, and I hope you don't share this with the teacher, but I did lie in my performance, because I said I was 14. No, I was 17. Because he was like, when we were like really, really younger. No, I was 17. I cut my hair, and it was like the natural hair big chop era. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm scared, whatever. I cut my hair, and I wanted to literally jump. Yeah. Because I was like, ew. It was uneven. It was so bad. My hair was so damaged. And you know that new growth is happening from the relaxed hair, so it looked crazy. And so I got it cut like from a lady at the hair salon. Okay. So then I'm like, I'm not wearing my hair out. It looks crazy. I don't like it. So then
at this point, when you cut it, was all the damaged hair cut off as well? Okay.
So it was just really, really short. Okay. And so that's when I saw people were talking about wigs. That's when it was getting like really popular. So I was like, okay, fine. I did my research, and I found these girls were doing synthetic. So I was like, okay, the beauty supply store that I found near me had the one that I kept seeing on social media. So I was like, oh, let me wear that. Like, whatever. So I planned it and made sure it was fine. But then the thing with synthetic, I don't know if you know. No. After, oh, you do? After like 2 days. Yeah. So I was like, no, I need to invest in a human hair wig. Yeah. And I worked, and I found one. And I was like, okay, cool. But then what made me really sad is, I'm sorry, this is so long. What made me really sad was, I feel like once I started getting into wigs, people noticed me at school. I started getting more and more attention. Okay. A lot of like guys that I found cute were now speaking to me because I had looser texture hair. And even girls would come up to me and be like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, Alliyah is so pretty, because I would have a wig on and stuff like that.
And this was senior year then, or junior?
Junior going into senior.
Okay.
So yeah, this was that whole year before senior year. Senior year is when I just was only rocking like human hair wigs. So I had new ones and stuff like that. That's when they really was like, oh. And at the time, I was hyped because I was like, wow, like I've never got this attention before. Like I feel like I've been and a lot of attention. And it was so weird because especially at that school, like it was a diaspora type of people. Okay. Very mixy. And I got attention from all types of people, so I was like, oh, period. And then I was doing wigs for a long time and taking care of my natural hair under. Okay. So it would grow more, but it wasn't like really, really growing. So 2016, boom. 2017, I'm just doing wigs, taking care under. So you didn't really see my natural hair until that summer of 2017. Okay. I was like, okay, let me just take it off in the summer because I want to go out to the pool, whatever. Yeah. And it was still short and I didn't like it at all, but I was like, okay, let me try it. So that one day that I was like, let me try it, this man came up to me and was like, you look beautiful, I love it. And I was like, oh, okay, like, thank you. And then so I started rocking it a little bit. In 2018 I was still not comfortable, so and that's when I went to college. So I was like, okay, I went to a community. I was like, all right, let me still do wigs, let me do like different styles. I would do a lot of protective styles, ponytails, like the one braid. I started doing that because before I started doing that because before I really would just do wigs. So I feel like I was challenging myself to try to learn new things other than wigs, where some of my hair would be out. And I liked it. And then I got my first silk press in 2018, and I was like, oh my god, my hair grew. I had a little bob, and I was like, period. Like, and then 2019 my hair started growing more, so I started wearing it out. Now I can put it in buns. So I was dumb hype. Yes. I was dumb hype. I was like, period. And I can cornrow it, so I would put it back. I would like do a bunch of stuff, and I finally got braids for the first time, and I was so happy because I was like, wow, like I love braids. It's so
for the first time, period. Wow.
And I was like, oh my god, like this is gorgeous. Like, period. And at the time, you know, it wasn't no knotless, boho, whatever. It was just regular braids. So I was like, oh, I love it. And then after that, I just started wearing my natural hair. I wear wigs if it's like an occasion, like a party, my birthday, my friends thing, but I wouldn't wear it like all the time. And when it's like winter and stuff, I'll start to wear it more, but not all the time, because winter I'm not taking care of I'm not gonna wash and do all this other shit. No. So I just started to do that, and then I feel like as I got more and more in tune with being Cape Verdean and going there, I just was like, I love my hair. Like, I was washing my hair yesterday, and I was like, I love my hair. Like, I really do. And I don't want to be like, and I feel like it's being kind of like confusing in the class, because I'm like, I love my natural hair, but I love wearing wigs, and I love doing other protective styles. I don't just love my hair. Like, it's other things with that too, but I feel like in that class he's like, nah bitch, only your hair. So I get it. And
like, it doesn't have to be the end all be all. Just because you accept it and love on one part of yourself doesn't mean that there isn't space for other parts. But yeah, he very much is like, no, I think it should be the natural hair.
And I'm like, okay.
He's like, it's so funny to say that with a wig on.
I'm like, all right.
I can't with him.
But I love like trying new styles and doing different things and expressing my creativity through my hair too. Like, I love, like I told you before, I like to dye my wigs and do stuff like this. Like, I dye this hair.
It's very autumn.
And I dyed the other one, the red one that you saw me with. And I like to, like, you know, play around, do different colors. There's a blue wig that I did. I want to try, I did pink. I want to try different colors, different styles, different like shapes, like just do so many things, because I feel like hair is, you know, your identity, and like it can show up in like different ways that you don't even realize.
So it's like an outlet for you.
I was gonna say, and it's like an outlet for me to just express myself, and I love it a lot. I just am so scared because I want to dye my natural hair, but I'm just like, with all the hair trauma that I had, I don't want to like mess it up. But
would you try like something like the wax?
I did that.
I
did the blue, loved it. I love blue. I did purple, I did red, and I think I did gold or silver or whatever. They were cute, but it gets everywhere, so it's like, sorry.
Looking for something more permanent. I hear you. So moving on, I wrote down socializing and anxiety. So like in high school, for instance, you were saying that was one of the first times that people were showing you attention. So before that, how did you navigate socializing, and where was your place in school? Like, what did that look like for you?
For me, in the elementary, middle school, I will say, like, I was really shy. I would barely talk, and I would have my friend group. And at the time, you know, middle school, elementary, people were like, I don't like you then. Next year, I like you, whatever. So, I would never know if I did have friends or not, because one day we all be cool, then the next day I get a text and it's like, we don't like you. So it's like, all right.
I hate kids.
No, literally. And then, especially being at that school, there's not a lot of people that look like you. So And there was a lot of drama at the middle school with me. So I was shy, and then people who I were close with, they would see my personality more. And I feel like it did change, but I was trying to adapt, I would say, to their personalities and them, because I feel like that's who I'm around most of the time. And I want to be liked, so let me try to be like them. And then it wasn't until high school that's when I became closer with a bunch of girls, and I feel like that's when my real personality came out more. I was shy, but not as much. I tried to at least talk to people. I feel like, you know how in groups, they always be like, there's the mean one, the quiet one, and then the nice one. Like, I would be the nice one. Like, the one that they wouldn't be afraid to come up to us and talk to. So I would be the nice one to talk to people. And I feel like at the time I was discovering my style too. So I would wear certain things that people would be like, oh my God, da, da, da. And we would talk on that. And I would at least try to like build kind of friendships, or like just always be kind and nice. Because at the time, like, I was just really, really shy and scared of what like everyone thought of me. So I was like, when I was getting all that attention, I feel like that opened doors for me to talk to more people and socialize. And one thing is, when I talk to people, I cannot look them in the eye. Like, so I look everywhere except them. And I feel like that happened more in high school, and that's why I do that, because before I feel like I wasn't doing that until I was in high school. So now I'm like, oh my God, talk everywhere except their face. Because at the time the attention was nice, but some of it was a little bit too much, where some guys would be too sexual and vulgar. So they would come up and be like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, like, I want to bug you. Like, what? Like, so it's like, I'm not even looking at you in the face, because what are you saying? I'm 16 years old.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I feel like that made me a little bit more like timid with men. That's why also I was careful with the way that I would talk to guys, because I don't want them to have, like I said, like, we're charming. I don't want them to have that, oh, but you were flirting with me. Oh, but you were doing this, when that's not the case. So I would try not to look them in the face, or look at whatever and be like, oh my God, yeah, like, and not really give them that eye contact and stuff like that, so it doesn't feel intimate. And I think honestly, coming to this school made me more like talkative and more like open and stuff to like meeting people and stuff, because I would wait for them to come to me. Now I don't mind coming to people.
Yeah, I agree. I would say the same for myself. Do you feel like, are you still the same way with men to this day, like having to be careful with how much of yourself you can be, I guess, so as to not send the wrong signal? Or like, even like the very specific thing, like not looking them in the eyes, because you don't want them to confuse that for a certain type of intimacy. Is that something that you still practice?
Yeah, I think so, but I feel like now that I'm in a relationship, a lot of guys don't come to me. And whether or not they know I'm in a relationship, I don't know if I give off that energy, but a lot of guys just don't come and speak to me. If I'm in the city, like if I'm going to Brooklyn to a club or whatever, I feel like I don't have the time to do that, because it's mostly them trying to dance on me. Or if I'm in an intimate setting and they want to talk to me, I'll try to do the thing that I told you, where I'm not gonna focus on me, I'll focus on you. And be like, oh my God, this place is really nice. Like, what do you do? Okay, you're a photographer. Oh, that's really nice. Like, you know, I go to school, and try to talk about like different things. Not to make it where it's flirty, or for you to get a chance to like want to talk about something sexual or anything like that. I think I just in general do the not like at people in the eye thing, but with men, I don't think I've been given the opportunity like recently, I would say, like, because I don't really talk to the guys.
Do you feel like you've had an opportunity or had a time where you didn't have to like intentionally be like, I don't want to make this more than what it is? Like, have you ever had an experience where you showed up as yourself and it was just cool? Like, you're just having a regular conversation, there was no, it didn't feel transactional or like they're preying on you or anything like that. Have you ever experienced that outside of like your partner?
With a guy or?
Yeah. Or I would say anyone in general, but I'm saying specifically men, since you said like with them, they're the ones that be like, you know.
With men, I think so, because I would say one time was, it was senior year, and my friend, we went to different schools. So she went to a popular school at in Yonkers, and I went to a different one. And she told me like she was friends with a bunch of guys, whatever the fuck. And I was like, okay, cool. So when I went to go hang out with her and go to her prom, like not the prom, but like, you know, when you go take photos with your friends before the prom. So I went there and I saw the guy, whatever. We were talking, cool. After that, we all were like a group, and we would go to movies, we would go hang out, we would do stuff. And the guy, his name was Manny, and we would always talk and stuff like that. We became cooler, so I'm like, oh, I have a guy friend, like I'm dumb hype. And we would always be on the phone, we would always text, talk about whatever. And then we would also text in that group chat or make plans. It wasn't like I would always be like, no, let's hang out, let's do this. No, it was like, okay, let's talk about deep stuff, me and you. Okay, and then as the group, we all hang out.
Right. Okay.
So one time, I guess he thought it was something else. So it's the day of my prom, and I have a date. And my date is get in the car to pull up to my apartment. Cool. So I'm already late, so I'm here stressing to go. As soon as I go downstairs, Manny's in a tie and suit. A suit and tie. And fresh cut, those dressy shoes, and flowers, and a corsage. And I'm like,
that wasn't discussed though.
No.
This was his plan. He was like, I'm finna take her.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was like confused, and as I'm seeing him, my date is pulling up.
Damn.
So I'm like, what the hell? And he's confused because he's like, what the fuck?
Right.
And then my friend, being my friend, she's like, oh, we're all going to the same place to take photos, can you just drop us? So it's me, my date, my friend Manny, and another girl, all in, and my date and Manny are both there like, because they both got roses, and it's like weak. I'm like the Bachelor, and it's like it was crazy. Wow. And I had to tell him like, bro, what are you doing? Like, this is my date. And he was embarrassed and upset, and after that I feel like he still didn't get the message because he still was trying to do a little bit more, but then he would play it off as being friends, but then after a while I just distanced myself because I was like, that was crazy. Wow. You're delusional.
What was Manny's sign?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Wow.
That was years ago. I really don't remember. Weird. That's
well,
the sign.
It wasn't significant enough.
Yes.
But speaking of which, the next thing I wrote down for self-acceptance was sexuality. Because when we were in class, you told me that you identified as being bisexual. But for some time, there was like some struggle with that because you have a partner and you've been with him for the last 4 years. But still, you want to be in queer spaces. You want to take up that space. You want to connect with other queer people. But when you're with him, or just because you're with him, period, there's this, oh, she's not really bi, or like just a lot of biphobia in general. So I wanted to talk about that as well, because I feel like that's new for me. All my life I've identified as a lesbian. Now I identify as a pan-lesbian. But I would have a lot of like straight friends, or just like the women, my sister, my mom in my life, and their relationship with men, and I just would never understand it. So like bisexuality in general is new for me. So I wanted to learn more about it. But yeah.
So I feel like for me, when I was younger, like I've always known that I like girls and boys. But I feel like when I was younger, it wasn't something that I could speak and be like, yes, I like that. Right. I was not in a space where I can speak and be myself. So with like my family and with everyone, they don't know to this day. Like, And
so is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to be sure.
They don't know to this day except my mom, because I feel like for her I was forced to tell her. So but with everyone else, I just am not close with all of my family. We're not like that, so I'm not gonna tell them things about myself that I feel like are intimate. Right. But I've known since I was younger, and you know, when you're little, you have little relationships or whatever. So I would have that, but it would mostly be with women. And then it wasn't until I was like in middle school or whatever, I was trying to repress all of that, because I was like, yeah, no, my family's gonna fucking hate me, kill me. Right. Well, not kill me, but like be like, you're disgusting. Like, no.
Were they also religious?
Yeah.
Okay.
And even my friends too, they were just not for it. So I was like, yeah, no. High school, same thing. But I would always have queer women trying to talk to me. Like, it's just they do. Like, I would always be like, nah, I'm good. But they would be like, you sure? Like, you sure? And at that time, I'm like, please stop talking to me. Like, stop. No, you're gonna out me. Like, please don't. And mind you, at the time, my friend was gay, and then the other two were like straight. But everyone was obviously accepting of it, but the person that wasn't was me. Right. So I didn't feel comfortable telling them, even though one of my friends were gay. Like, I just like, no, like, I'm not gonna tell you that. And it was, I guess, internalized homophobia, because it's like, why would I tell you that? Right. Like, I obviously, like, I'm not homophobic and I support, but like, for myself, I'm not gonna go and put myself out there, because I'm scared of what people are gonna say or think of me. And college is when I was like, okay, maybe I can. So I would go on Tinder, and I was on, I think it's her. That's the girl. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. And I would go on there or whatever, but nothing really crazy was going on. And one night, actually one of my friends knew. I told my closest friend at the time, I told her in the car, and she literally said, okay. Like, and to me, we literally sat in the car for an hour because I was so scared. I was trying to like lead up to it. And literally I said it to her, and she was like,
was this friend also queer or? Okay.
She was literally just like anyways, like, and to me, I'm like,
yeah. And how do you, would you have liked or preferred a different reaction, or do you feel like her reaction helped?
It did, because I'm like, I was so scared, and you literally are like, this is like another thing, another thing, like, okay, cool. And so me telling her made me like open up to my friends who I'm friends with now. And at the time they were just so outwardly being like, oh, I'm bi, or I like girls, or this, whatever. And I'm like, oh, you guys do that? Like, what? So I know, like, I'm not going to be judged. I know I'm not going to be like whatever, because I had experiences with friends where I was like, okay, maybe I can trust you and tell you, and they would be like, you're disgusting. Wow. Like, this one girl in college in the beginning, there was a girl I had a crush on. So I told her, I was like, yeah, like, I have a crush on this girl. And she literally was like, that's not okay. You're disgusting. And maybe you should go to church. My church is good. I can show you. Like, and I'm like,
here or this?
No. This is at the community.
Oh my god.
Here, everybody get here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I was like, no way, Alliyah. No.
So I was so just like, what the hell? Yeah.
So after that, did how was that friendship after that?
No, we stopped talking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, because she didn't. It wasn't like we stopped talking. Like, I was like, I saw the reaction. I was like, oh, okay, no. She completely was like, I don't want to be around you.
So
like,
she initiated.
Yeah, she was like, do not talk to me. I don't want to be around you. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Sometimes it's so shocking to hear that people still think and move like that.
Yeah, especially women, like, too, where it's like, be fucking for real.
And she was your friend. Like, if we're supposed to be friends, like...
Yeah.
Wow.
So I feel like it was great. And then me and my boyfriend started dating in 2019. And prior to him, like, I would be talking to guys. Like, yeah, I would try to find girls, whatever, but nobody was just, it was not going like that. And I was scared too. So then I found my boyfriend, and it was like, oh, like, yay, love him. And I really do love him. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's the one person in the world that I feel like actually knows me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary.
Oh, yes, you said he's Cancer.
Yeah, he's a Cancer. And that's scary to me because, like I said, I do not like to talk about myself.
Yeah.
So to have someone who actually knows you is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And love him so much. And while we were dating, we both learned different things about myself. Like, obviously, he was not like, bitch, what the fuck, when I told him I'm bi. As we started to date and stuff like that, he came out to me and he's pansexual. So,
oh, wow.
We both were, like, just navigating ourselves and whatever. And we were both very, like, open with communication, open with everything. So, like, there would never be any judgment or whatever. Yeah. And even with, like, he questioned his identity at one point, too. Like, in terms of, like, being, like, if he was like non-binary or anything like that.
Gender identity.
Yeah, gender. Sorry.
No.
And we were questioning that. We were figuring that out, and I was obviously going to be there for him.
Yeah.
And through all of that, and I'm like, this is someone I love because like we're going through all these different spaces, and it's just open, no judgment,
and you're being of support for one another.
Yes, so yes. Cool. And so I'm like, I love him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I love girls. Because I'm like, you know, like I want to be in those spaces or whatever, but it's just like, okay, like, oh, you like girls? Yeah, but you got a boyfriend. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. In like spaces, I feel like I have to be careful because I'm like, there are girls that are like pretty and like I like to talk to and hang out or whatever, but it's like, okay, like I don't want to push it where I'm flirting or anything like that and disrespect my boyfriend's boundaries or me, our relationship, and also give the person a wrong idea because charming. So but it's also different when you are attracted to that person too, where it's like, oh, okay, like, so things end up being like friendships. And I feel like as I am older, I feel like now I'm really getting to the point where I'm like, I go to school where everybody's gay. Yeah. Like, if I go out, scream, be like, I'm gay, everyone's gonna be like, all right, bitch, can you shut up?
Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like, all right, bitch, can you shut up? Like, it's not anything new. Like, now I feel like it is very normalized, and it's okay to say these things. Before, it was not. Especially with TikTok, social media, and stuff like that. Especially it's been so much better. But before, if this was 2014 and I'm saying this, everyone's gonna be like, bitch, all right, what the fuck? Like, you're weird. Yeah. So now I've got to a space where I feel more comfortable to say it. It is scary every time I speak on it and say it, but I feel like that's the steps that I have to take to get used to it and more happy, more proud or whatever. Having queer friends is amazing because it's like, okay, you get my experience or to an extent, and we can go to events together and stuff like that. But I just want to be more included into the community because I feel like it's weird because it's like, okay, you have a boyfriend. Yeah. But like, yes, you're queer, but you have a boyfriend. Yeah. And it's like, yes, and I love him. Yeah. But we're not talking about him. Yeah, no. Like, I want to escape that as my identity in a way where it's like, I feel like we're together, but
he is his own person and you're your own person. Like, you're still going through, and I hear what you're saying, because sometimes I feel like with relationships that's where it gets like a bit muddled for me, because sometimes it just feels like we're supposed to be one and seen as one period, and because you're with him it's supposed to be like, no, but you're with him. But it's like, no, like, yeah, I am with him, but we're separate people outside of that. Exactly. And I know that there are certain steps that I want to take to continue to deepen my relationship with myself. Because you doing that, that's going to deepen your relationship with him. Like, it's going to make it even better. So
it has.
That's what so I hear what you're saying. Like, I understand that that's tricky and people see you and that's the label or the box that they want to put you in.
Yes, and it's like annoying because I'm like, I don't get a chance to at least open myself to someone because you already have that standing, like, you have a boyfriend now. Like, you're dating a man. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but like, he's not a bad man. Yeah, he's not a bad. You know, he's part of the community too, guys. Like, and I really want to go and be in spaces without him and navigate my own self and join new communities, and
especially since we're like graduating, finally off campus for real.
No, for
like, I'll be in the city, so I'm like, yes. But yeah, there are a lot of like cute like gay bars, like Bush type. Yes, we talked about Bush type bar. Have you been to the Woods?
No,
I want to go to the
people say that
woods.
it's really good.
Yes, I want to, but it's like I think one of the like lesbian night is like on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
It's on Wednesday.
In the middle of the fucking week. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So maybe, hopefully, in the next year, like. But
I usually go to like gay bars because my 2 best friends are gay. So.
Yes, I see you on when you make your
yeah.
So cute.
So we usually go to, I don't know if you know Boxers or
I don't know that one.
It's a gay club in the city in Brooklyn, and then there's another club, Brooklyn something. It's where a lot of drag queens perform, but it's in Brooklyn. Okay. We go there all the time too. So now I'm like, all right, guys, but like let's start going to like more like queer bars or like women, And they're like, but where the niggas at? I'm like, all right, okay. Like
you gotta
not everything is about men.
Take turns. You gotta take turns. Gotta switch off.
Yes. And also being in those spaces too, I feel like it helped me a lot. Like when I went to Bush with my friend, I was like, wow, I had an amazing time. There was no men.
Yeah.
Nobody. I didn't feel uncomfortable where nobody was pressing on me. Nobody was trying to dance on me. We were all vibing, listening to music. It was a nice space. There was beautiful women there. You drinking. You just having fun. Like it's just a nice atmosphere. Yeah. And then you go to a straight club and it's like.
It's just nasty. Like it's just
all right. Why are we playing Drake for the 5th time and like let's play something else? Like this is just too much. Over there,
it's very overstimulating.
Yes.
Like, but at a queer bar, I don't feel that.
Me
way.
too. I feel like wow, like this is nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It's real pretty. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna move into like astrology and spirituality.
Yes.
So what is your big 3 or big 6? Because Alliyah is she's a professional. Yeah, so big 6. So if you don't mind sharing.
No.
Okay.
Sun in Libra, Moon and rising in Aquarius. My Venus is Virgo.
Okay.
My Mercury is Scorpio. My Mars is Capricorn.
So crazy, like.
I know.
I feel like those are a lot of like heavy. That's what I'm saying. Like it's so. I guess maybe the aqua in you for the social anxiety. Because I don't know, like I feel like those are very like dominant, like assertive placements. When I think, maybe not Libra. Well, not Libra, because Libra has charm, so Libra doesn't have to be like, you know what I'm saying? But like Cap, when I think Cap, I'm thinking like big energy. I think Virgo, big energy. And then Scorpio. You said Scorpio, yes. Scorpios too. But even Aquarians in their own way.
Yeah, because we're fixed
in their own way, yes.
I definitely do see that. I do be dominant sometimes. Like I feel like sometimes I can be a bitch because the Mercury and Scorpio, my tongue can it can switch and I can go off and I can violate. But sometimes I choose not to.
Yeah.
And
choose peace.
Yes. And I think also my Capricorn Mars, I feel like that shows up in my work ethic and my strive to do what I want to do.
Okay.
Like in terms of acting, like it is acting or failure. That is my goal. That is my destiny. That is what I want to do. I'm not going to do anything else but that. And I feel like it shows in that. That's very like Capricorn, where it's like work ethic is their life. They're very strong-minded. This is what it is. Boom, boom, boom. Money makers. You know, it's this in a bag. And that is for me too.
Yeah.
But it can also be in like the way that Mars rules sex. But that, and I feel like my aggression can come as that too. It can be as
very switch.
Yeah. Yeah. my aggression can be like in terms of like dominant. I mean, in terms of like Capricorn, I feel like it's very stern. Like if I'm mad, I'll be stern with you and be like, no. Okay. Like,
so how does Capricorn Mars? How do you regulate emotionally? I know like that's more moon as well, but when I think of Capricorn being under stress, what does that look like and how do you regulate that?
Because I feel like Capricorn and Aquarius is Saturnian, so it's, you know, ruled by Saturn. So for those that don't know. And so because I am like very Saturn, all of my like very, I feel like I don't cry. I don't. I am very. I hate when people say that like I'm emotionalist, or when people say that like, you know, I am. What's the word? Not emotionalist. but like, you know, I'm dry with my emotions. I don't really
aloof.
Yes,
detached.
Yes, detached. That's the word. Because for a lot of people, if you get hurt, you're gonna cry. If you know you are dealing with something, you're gonna cry. For Saturn placements, and especially me being an older sister, and I feel like having immigrant parents, I think it is, you don't have time to cry because you need to get up, stop being weak, and do what you gotta do. I always been like, in my head, that crying is weak. I've been told that. That's just been the mentality.
So like from childhood, that's
a mentality, like, for you to cry, you're showing weakness, you're being vulnerable. That's not good. So when I do cry, I literally be apologizing. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, what the fuck? This is mad embarrassing. Like, and I could say the craziest thing, like, oh my God, I got ran over and this, whatever. That's why I'm crying. And then I'll be like, I'm sorry, this is mad embarrassing. And they'll literally look like, girl, you just got ran over. Like, of course you're gonna cry.
Right.
But to me, it's so out of nature. Like, it's not something that is new. Like, if, for me, what makes me cry is actually, which is sad, when people are standing up for me, or when people are like giving me my flowers or whatever. Be like, you know, you've been through a lot. That's why this, sort of, that makes me emotional. Because
it's like they're giving you space, kind of.
Yeah.
Holding space for you.
Yeah, that makes me emotional. When, like, I think about, like, how I can achieve more than what I want. That makes me emotional. When it comes to other things, I feel like I always have to be strong. I don't have time for a moment of weakness. So if people are crying, I have to be there for them. I can't be crying with you. I need to be like, all right, you know, you're gonna be good. Be like strong-minded and show you the way after you're done crying. I can't sit there and cry with you unless it's like something really bad. Right. But my friend the other day was like, yeah, like, you know, the best experience we all had was when we were all crying, talking about like trauma or whatever, except Alliyah, you know that bitch don't cry. And I was like, dang, like, that's how you see me? And we was like, no, like, you really don't, like, you're emotionalist. And I'm like, guys, stop. Wow. And it's like, it's not that I'm like, don't want to cry, that I'm like, nah, you bitches are weird. Like, it's just like, I cannot bring myself to do that. And I think when it comes to stress, I detach in ways where I separate myself. And I'll be like quiet in the corner, go through it in my mind, like, it's just me in my head. And that's how I figure it out. Like, I, you know, now I'm in therapy, but prior to that, it would be like me doing it in my head. I would not talk to people. I would not try to, you know, ask for help or do all this other stuff.
Is there a physical urge to, or like that doesn't exist, period?
Now that I'm in therapy, even then I'm like, I don't want to bother these people. But before, it's like, why would I tell someone what I'm going through? That don't make sense. At the time, that was me. I was like, that don't make sense. Wow. Why would, like, that? No. So it is very different, especially dating someone who's a Cancer. Right. Who has a lot of fire too. Yeah. Very emotional. And it is very weird where it's like, okay, like, you know, I'm there for him and help him and stuff like that. But my emotions are gonna be different. Where it's like, for him, sometimes he might need me to just be quiet, listen to him, and be there for him. But for me in that moment, it's like, I need to fix this problem. How can I fix this? What is it gonna do to make you feel better? Like, so you're not crying. That's my mentality. So, and I feel like that goes with a lot of people too. And now in therapy, I'm just learning, sometimes you just need to be there for that person and not find a solution. Right. And that is very Saturn focused.
I was just about to say,
because, you know, you try to fix the situation. You need to change it. You need to, you go through so many things. That's why I've been like that forever. And now I'm unlearning these things. Yeah. But I still try to find like solutions and still try to find these things for people, but when they want it, not already doing it, if that makes sense.
So do you feel like for like most of your life, specifically childhood, that was your role to fix?
Yeah.
Like you were called to fix, period. Like from birth, you feel that was a feeling
Yeah. Because both of my parents are divorced, but one's Leo, one is Aquarius. So it's like, here we go. My brother's a Leo too. So me being, okay, I'm not the only air sign, but me being a Libra, because they're dealing with stuff, my parents, and then my younger brother, Leo, Leos. I had to be the one that would have to be calm and you can talk to. So I would be the therapist, I'm the mom, I'm the older sister, I'm the financial person, I'm the worker, I'm the employee, I'm everything. So I would have to, if they're fighting whatever, then they'll ask me like, okay, like they'll ask me to come over. I see that they're upset. Why are you upset? They tell me the tea. Then it's just like, okay, what do I do about this? Or it's unprovoked, where it's like they just be like, no, your dad is this, blah, blah, or your mom is this, blah. And it's like, okay, cool. And then even in friendships, I feel like that's the same thing too, where people will just tell me things. That's always been my life. Even now, people will just tell me things without saying anything. Crazy. I know.
I feel like I keep coming across, because I feel like I relate to your story a lot. But like growing up, like it feels like you're the only person on this earth that has this experience. But I feel like a lot recently, I'm finding people like this. But I'm like putting shit together, right? Like so. Like, yes, that happened in our childhood, but then look at the way that it affected our relationship with ourselves and then our relationship with the world. And so here we are at this age having to unlearn, like, all those things. Sometimes I feel like I missed so many opportunities because of, you know, who I had to be to survive in childhood. But, like, I don't know. I feel like that's what makes, like, people like us, like I don't know. I feel like there's something in us, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's very specific to the experience that we had. But yeah, that's just so crazy.
And I don't know if it's the energy or anything like, but a lot of people will just dump everything. Yeah. And just be like, my dog died and my cat died, and Angel, and then this happened and I fell down 7 steps and da-da-da. And then it's like, at the second, I have to come up with a solution. Yeah. Because you're telling me your problem. Yeah. So I gotta be like, okay, I can't sit here and cry, be like, no, oh my god, because that's not doing nothing. Because then they'll just tell me more and more and more. And it's like, okay, so your dog died and your angel fell in the goldfish trip. Okay, how about we put the goldfish on a loose in the water, the dog, and just try to do so many things so they can feel better in that moment. And I can bounce. It's just maybe it's just because I talk a lot, or I try to get to know the person that they feel.
I was gonna say, like, how you were saying, like, because I do the same thing when I talk to people, and it's not intentional. Like, I really just want to know about them, but like you asking questions specifically so that they can tell you more and more and more. So again, so when you find yourself in a situation where they're sitting here and they're fucking dumping, and it's like you have to go against what you naturally want to do, which is ask more questions, because you want to find the fucking solution to shut the shit down. So you know, that's interesting. I find recently, okay, because like I do want to get to know more, like not too much, because sometimes it can be overwhelming when people don't, like, it's too much. But like, yes, flipping it back on them, but asking them, like, so how does that make you feel? Like, instead of focusing on the solution, focus on the feelings. Like, how are you feeling in this present moment? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I can't fix half the shit you just told me. I can't fix shit at all. But what I can do is sit here with you, hold space with you while you're trying to process the emotions that you are going through right now. But I find sometimes that helps. Because then sometimes when you ask people these questions, they actually don't want to be completely vulnerable. So then they'll go run away.
Yes, yeah. So it's like, okay, it's a win-win. Like, but it's like, you don't want to be vulnerable, but you just told me a bunch of
right. But then that what makes me think, like, you're not actually being vulnerable. Yeah. You're just telling me shit. Yeah. You're just telling me what you think I want to hear. Like, no, give me some real shit. Give me some shit you're scared of. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Yeah. Playing around. But okay, next question. I wanted to know, how did you find astrology and what piqued your interest in it to like keep wanting to learn more and going back to it, referring to it?
For me, I think when I was younger, I just always loved it. My older cousin, she's an Aries, and she always like was into it. And it wasn't until I feel like recently I my Libra is in my 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. And Scorpio, when you think of it, you know, it's like, oh, mystical, scary.
Yeah.
And something, I have another placement in my 9th house, which is Sagittarius, and that is the unknown. No, Scorpio's the unknown. Sagittarius is like religion, travel, spirituality. And I feel like
wow.
Yeah. And I feel like with Sagittarius, that and the Scorpio, those two placements, whatever I have in the Sagittarius and the Scorpio, I feel like now it makes sense as to why I always like astrology.
Right.
But at the time, I just always was like, I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
I'm a Libra. And then as I was in high school, I really was getting into birth charts, and I downloaded CoStar, and I was like, oh, whatever, this is cute. And they told me some more stuff, so then I was on Tumblr a lot when I was younger, and they would always tell like Libra, this, whatever, and then they would show you a guide to find your birth time and all this other stuff. So
wow.
I was like, okay, cool. And then I found my birth time, and then went on CoStar, whatever. That's when they told me all this stuff. Then everyone was like, fuck CoStar, get the pattern. I was like, all right, let me get the pattern. Then the pattern was telling me some stuff, and I was like, yeah, nah. So I was like, no. Then my friend was like, no, not my friend, on Twitter they were like, download time passages, and I was like, okay, fine. And I have it here, and I love the app so much.
Yeah, I never heard of that one. Time
It
passages.
is amazing. Here, y'all.
Okay, I see when people screenshot
it tells you the current, what's going on right now, and then your own. So my chart shows me this, the planets, and then it'll tell you a whole thing. It'll tell you what it means in your 8th house, being
that's
a Libra,
so cool.
and a Libra
that
itself.
It does houses as well.
Yes, and then it tells you like aspects, so it'll be like this, and explains all of these to you.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know it had this much information.
Yeah, and I like that because I'm like, I don't like something that is just like, hold on, let me show the viewers. It's this app. This one right here. I don't like something that's just gonna be like, oh, you're Libra, you're charming, you're nice,
like the stereotypical.
Tell me what it is.
Because it's very specific. Whatever placement, whatever house it is in my chart specifically, like it's very specific. Like it could change. You know what I'm saying? But when they just give the stereotypical like surface level descriptions, like I don't feel like that's accurate. Yeah. Because it could be different depending on who you are. But yeah, that's so cool. So how does astrology impact your daily life, if it does?
I love astrology with my whole entire life. Like, I love it. Because like I said to you before, it has made me now learn so much about different types of people and get to not have one perspective. There are so many signs, 12, but so many that are like good, bad. It's very, it's not subjective. Yeah. Where, well, it is subjective or it's not?
It's not subjective. Subjective is what, specific? Subjective. That's subjective.
I feel like it is subjective.
It's subjective.
It is subjective. No good and there's no bad.
Right.
It's just the way the person handles it.
Yes, I like that. There is no good, there is no bad.
Yeah, right. So it's like you may not like a sign, but that shouldn't be like everybody in the whole world.
Yeah,
is like
no.
this. Like, for example, I feel like Sagittarius are weird. Sagittarius suns are weird to me. Like something about them are very weird, where it's like very chaotic and strange. But to you can be like Sagittarius and me.
I literally love a Sag sun. Like I love their chaos.
I'm not gonna be here and be like, if you're a Sagittarius, I don't want to be around you.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. No.
That's no. Like, everyone has a different experience and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe if they have a Sag sun, but let's say everything else is water, they're not going to be as chaotic. Yeah, no. Like, they're going to be chill.
Or so, maybe it's a Pisces moon, Jesus Christ.
Like, for example, when I was younger, I was like that, where I was like, Leos, I can't. Leos, no. My dad's a Leo, my brother's Leo. My uncle's a Leo. No, I'm not dealing with y'all. And then I started having Leo friends, and I was like, oh, you guys aren't like that as much. Like, you guys are crazy, but not that crazy. Right. And, like, then I was just, like, getting in that mood where I was like, you know, not everyone is different. It's not going to be like that, whatever. So I just stopped acting or looking at it in that way.
Yeah.
That's why I hate when I see people do that, where they be like, Libras lie, Libra, whatever. And I'm like, not all of us are like this.
I was just about to say, like, before I met Alliyah, like, I told you that when we were talking about signs, I was like, I typically don't like Libras.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, because they do be lying. And, yeah, no, they're very charming, but sometimes I feel like some of them use their charm to be malicious.
And that's not okay.
So, but that was just the ones that I experienced, and that is not all Libras. Okay? Yeah.
And I feel like a bunch of signs, there's things about them or characteristics that are like strange, like I said with the Sagittarius, right? Strange. But there's signs that are, there's characteristics that are good about them. Because yes, they're strange, but they are so optimistic.
Yeah.
Have so much luck.
Yeah.
So much abundance in them. Yeah. They are the sign of that. Jupiter, like, literally are fun. They're good for a fun
just
time.
Them being able to like bounce around, like,
yes, very
like,
adaptable. They're mutable signs.
Yes, very adaptable. And then going back to detachment, like, I think like there's some level of detachment that is healthy, and I feel like Sagittarius would be the ones to master that, because they love to wander. They love to just bounce around.
They,
like, they
are
don't give a fuck.
mutable. They are adaptable. They can be in any type of space, which is really good.
Yes, you can bring them around, and they're gonna vibe with everybody. That's why I love a Sag.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many aspects that are good, bad, whatever. Right. But I feel like that's all on everyone's perception. Like, it all depends on you.
I agree. Okay, for our last question, I want to know: do you find astrology and spirituality intertwining in your life? Like, has you discovering astrology, going down that journey, has it made you closer to your spirit or to spirituality in general? Do you practice spirituality, so on and so forth?
I think it has, definitely, because as you get into astrology, you learn about like different signs. You learn about what this means, how, for example, Pisces, they are the unknown. Yeah, or they're like, Pisces, the bad thing about them, I will say, is that they're one of those people that once they're in it, they can't see anything else. Yes.
They're loyal, like, people know, loyal to a fault. Like, they'll be dead.
They're blinded by love.
Yes.
That's the one thing that, you know, they got to work on, whatever. And I feel like with them, when it comes to like placements and stuff, they also can like what's the word, bring a lot of things to light. When they get out of that space, when they're not blinded by that, they get out of it. And I feel like when I think of spirituality and stuff like that, Pisces, if you have a Pisces placement, that definitely gives me like, Scorpio, that gives me whatever, a lot of water, a lot of like air, fire, earth not so much, but I feel like that gives me like, open. And as I got to know more about astrology, I started learning about all these like, spiritual crystals and what's her face? Incense and all these things. And it's like, wow, like you start to open your eyes to different stuff. And because learning about astrology, you cannot be judgmental. You have to be open about learning these things. That's when spirituality, it comes easy, because it's like, I'm not going to be judgmental and learn about this, whatever. And I feel like it's helping 100% to learn about that. It has showed me different types of spiritualities. I feel like for me, like, I really love crystals. I have a bunch at my house. And it started to also open me up to like tarot, to like doing readings, things like that. Just like literally astrology has helped me with that, or things outside of like spiritual in those type of ways, where it's like spiritual in like African spiritualities, like in different type of goddess, like, I don't know if you know Oshun.
The Orishas.
Orishas, like things like that. Also open yourself to it. It's really fun, and it's nice to like learn about these things, because it's like a whole new world that you didn't even know about. And I feel like astrology has helped me, push me in there, because you want to be open. You want to be accepting, and I feel like spirituality helps with that too.
I agree, and you find so many tools because, like you were saying, like with tarot, for instance, like there's a specific card for each sign that goes with it. The chakras, like there's certain signs that, like, not for sure, but they might have trouble or blockage with a certain chakra, and then they might be like really have a really good hold or understanding of another one. So yeah, I feel like it definitely intertwines and plays a part. And then it, like you said, like it just like a rabbit hole, like it just opens you up to like so much more. Like you don't even like half the shit, like I was saying, like shit you can't even fathom, like you can't even think about it on your own because you've never experienced it, never saw it before, never uncovered it. And then when you do, it's like, it's amazing. But yeah, I would agree. I would say that astrology definitely continued to push me to like further explore spirituality and like all that there could be there to get me closer to my spirit, but also the other ones that came before me. Yes. But okay, this is a nice chat. For this one, I did a little less questions just to play with it, just to see how it goes. But thank you for coming. Was there anything else that you would like to share with the audience before we close out?
No.
No.
You guys learned a lot about me.
Yes. Thank you for being vulnerable and open and sharing for the internet. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope to see you back here again for the next one.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.